Well, we are back finally after a long break with more of Staying Up with Pat and Jodi, and it is the VidCon or KIDCON episode.
Oh wait! Don't blow it yet. I was gonna say don't blow your load just yet.
Well, it's the title of it. We have to explain why. They don't know why.
VidCon. It's the Staying Up with Pat and Jodi
VidCon
edition.
It's gonna say right in the title, VidCon or KIDCON,
I know,
so
but,
they're gonna know
and
already.
we might have some new watchers
But they're
because
gonna
we
read
were
VidCon.
at VidCon.
They're gonna read VidCon or KIDCON on the title. So.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Hi everybody. So why
and
don't
it's
we?
not live this week, so we're recording.
Yes.
We're recording it. That's why we're recording it. So
you can edit out all the bad parts.
When I can't talk, yeah.
Yeah, he said.
You know.
So for those of you who don't know who we are, because we have a lot of probably new
How are you here if you
viewers.
don't know who we are?
Well, we have a lot of new people watching us from VidCon. So my name is Jodi, and my name is Jodi Harris, and I am the CEO of Fun, and I have been married to this gentleman sitting to my right for a long time.
Very long time. Longer than you know.
Longer than you kids have been born that are watching. Some of you that went to VidCon, we've been married as probably as long as you've been alive.
Very likely, yes.
Yeah, very likely, and we're still cool.
That's right. That's right. At least to us.
Yeah.
To you, maybe not. But
we're
to
legends
us,
in our own
minds. In our own mind.
But we're based in Las Vegas.
Let's just hope that you could be this delusional when you're our age.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Let's see. I'm just saying. But we are based in Las Vegas,
Nevada.
Vegas,
which is cool.
Yeah, which is very cool, as you can see in the background. Oh, you didn't turn on the little light.
I did.
That's okay. Oh, is it on?
They're on.
Oh, they're not flashing.
They don't flash.
Oh, I thought they flashed.
They never flash.
Oh, okay. There you go, kids.
That's what happens when you get older.
Yeah,
you forget.
you lose your memory. You forget it all.
Lose your memory.
But VidCon, everybody.
So we're going
VidCon
to talk
2018.
about our VidCon trip. That's all we're going to talk about today is our VidCon trip because it was kind of interesting. First of all, I do probably a dozen different conferences a year, as Jodi knows.
Why? Why do you do a dozen?
Video conferences, drone conferences, audio conferences, lighting conferences, sound conferences. Yeah, only when I'm working. That's only when I'm working. So we're just like, okay, well, Jodi said, hey, let's try out VidCon. I've read a lot of interesting stuff. It's for online producers that do shows online. Hey,
creators, Pat.
Creators.
They're called creators.
Well,
I like that word, though. I like the word creator. Didn't you? I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I think they called God that, too.
Yeah, he created, right,
yeah,
exactly.
I think
so you're really not
stuff.
called producers. You were called creators.
No, well, producer is a position.
Yeah, right. But
they're just giving you a generic term because you do everything.
I always thought of myself as a producer.
Yeah.
That's what I say. I produce
you still
events.
Are.
But I like the term creator. I thought that was kind of cool.
That's an all-encompassing term that
well,
we don't want
to
spend 10
minutes talking about.
Well, you're creating content
for YouTube and various other social media channels.
Online media, yes.
So Anaheim.
Absolutely. So we decided to go. It's in Anaheim. It's a half-day's drive from us, so we don't have to fly. We could drive in, spend an extra day there, and have a little time off. I didn't have a lot of expectations, but I did look through, and there was some interesting content there, which was nice. I mean, there's different sessions, that had to do with improving your searchability, thumbnail optimization, all kinds of things that really are relevant to what we do and that we'll be able to use. What we didn't realize was that there's probably, creator-wise, there's probably a couple thousand, wouldn't you say?
A lot. There was
just creators.
Oh, creators? Yeah.
Maybe a couple thousand.
I mean, there were 30,000 supposedly. I don't have the exact numbers, but
over
again,
30,000.
for people who watch Staying Up with Pat and Jodi, again, VidCon is a conference for people who create online content.
We said that.
I didn't hear you say that.
Yeah, we said that.
Oh, I'm sorry. See what happens when you get old.
You forget.
But online content. And so there were over 30,000 people. And as Pat said, there was the creator track. That's what we went to.
Yeah.
But there's also two other tracks.
There's
that
industry
you can go
track,
to.
which is more people who are
executives.
Executives.
I would say executives.
Yeah, and that are looking for talent, things like
By
that.
the way,
that's a much smaller group of people.
And by the way,
much smaller.
The WWE, who you all know I love, was there at VidCon giving a seminar, but on the industry level.
Industry track,
So
yeah.
industry track. And of course, I had the pass that was creator, so I couldn't go.
But the vast majority of people are in what's called a community track. And I like to refer to the community track as the, how would I put it, groupies. Yes, groupies. Well, people there to spot, you know, like you used to go to a concert or you used to go to these press events to see your favorite athlete, your favorite rock star, and get a picture with them. This was mostly a fan event. This is for people to go and see their favorite group, a YouTube creator and get a picture with them and talk to them. Yes. And I think that was probably 27,000 of the 30,000+.
I was floored. First of all, when we got to the building, there's this giant, wrap on the Anaheim Convention Center with Liza.
Liza, not Minnelli. Showing our age.
Excuse me. Who is Liza? Who is this?
I had no idea who Liza was.
I had no idea. Like, she was this Liza.
She has to be somebody important because they put like a 50-foot banner of her up on the side of the building.
And then all these, like we said, KIDCON, all these screaming teenagers and everybody
and preteen.
Everybody had this. Everybody had their cameras. Everybody was filming. Nobody was watching where they were going. It was insane. People were in the corners talking to themselves, creating video. There were clusters of millennials and Generation Z people, and even I don't even know what's younger than Generation Z.
I think they're all still considered Z.
There were mothers dropping off their children at this event,
like it was daycare,
like it was summer camp. Yeah. I mean, Disneyland is across the street. It was crazy.
And let me tell you, you go on the expo floor, and again, I'm used to expo floors where like NAB and things like that, where there's production equipment and there's software companies, and they had that. Maybe about a half a dozen of them.
I'm counting them on one hand,
and
folks.
They had,
5.
And they had about a dozen bounce houses.
Oh my God, they had
bounce houses.
I felt like I was in Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, it was Chuck E. Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese, and even
a giant Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, even everything was unicorns. There were lots of unicorns. There was lots of pastels. I mean, I got super excited. I saw, oh my God, Facebook is here, right? Facebook. What are they going to do? All Facebook was a group of vignettes, like little rooms that were created with all the different Facebook emojis. So like you went into
not all of them, but certain ones.
Well, you went to like the like, if you
Facebook
follow me on
one,
Instagram, the heart, the surprise face, that was crazy.
It was.
And then Instagram had just launched IGTV.
Yeah.
So Instagram was there, and I'm thinking I'm going to meet somebody who works at Instagram. I'm going to be able to network with them. Hell no. All they did was like have screens.
Vertical screens because
showing Instagram stories and IGTV, and that was it.
Because, by the way, Instagram, shame on you. You don't video things like this.
Well,
okay? They're doing it. I get it. Our eyes are this way. They're not this way. So if you want to fit, it's great for a selfie in one person. But if you want to get more than one person in the shot, it's a little difficult. Everything they have is vertical, which is ridiculous. I mean, it's almost useless for most of the stuff that we do.
Well, I know you get little like mad when like he's always yelling at me to film that way, vertical,
this way,
and not
horizontal, not vertical.
Horizontal and not vertical, yes. Because and if you ever notice, like when you watch people who are are on airplanes and they're trying to get this, get the video footage of the passenger that got kicked out of the plane or whatever, they're always holding it
vertically.
The wrong way.
And then when you see it on the news, you see some like goofy strip in the middle with borders on either side. Just do this. Just do that. See that? Wow.
That's all you have to
do.
But yeah, so IGTV,
especially if you wanted to get on air.
So I got super excited because I thought, oh, good.
Talk to somebody.
I'm going to get to meet somebody who works at Facebook. I'm going to get to meet somebody who works at Instagram. I'm going to get to meet somebody who works at YouTube. No, YouTube was there, and everybody talked about the elephant in the room because
title sponsor.
Yeah, VidCon, all the producers that we met, creators. All their stuff is on YouTube. Matter of fact, you're watching this on YouTube right now.
Yeah,
more than likely.
And look,
but they weren't there. I mean,
there were other outlets.
They weren't there.
There were other outlets, but every single room that we went into, there was talk of YouTube. So, and YouTube was the premier sponsor. And they had Facebook. Facebook's coming out with new products and different things like that, which is nice. It's nice to see those. That was helpful information. But YouTube was nowhere around to answer any questions, to talk to anybody, because they're probably pissed. There's a lot of people that got demonetized when they changed their rules.
Yes.
There's people like us that got channels suspended for no reason, and you can't talk to anybody.
You can't.
Not this channel, obviously. One that all we do is put demo work on, so I don't know how community standards affect that. But so issues like that where they are nowhere to be found. They don't want to talk to anybody. They don't want to answer any questions. Nope. They just want to be talked about and get more people producing on their platform.
And they want you to spend money on their shows, like YouTube Red, where my favorite, where Cobra Kai, my favorite Cobra Kai is on.
It's a great show.
And now they have YouTube cable TV. I just saw this when I clicked onto YouTube, that you could pay $40 a month and have cable on YouTube. All the cable stations that we get is now on YouTube for $40 a month. So you don't even have to have cable TV anymore. But crazy. But getting back to VidCon, I got to tell you, let's talk first of all, Pat, because I know you have a lot to say about it, on security. And I'm just going to sit back and let Pat talk about this.
And it's, the previous conference I had just come back from was in Hollywood on Paramount Studios. Paramount Studios has a lot of security. They don't want you messing around on movie sets while you're there for a conference. They had nowhere near the security. They weren't monitoring you the way that VidCon does. Now, I understand the whole fan thing. That's the case. You need to separate that from the people who want to go there to learn something. But I don't care about autograph from a freaking YouTube star I've never heard of.
Exactly. These are YouTube stars. This isn't Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, George Clooney, Meghan Markle, the Dutch. I mean, these are people just like me and Pat that have YouTube channels.
And granted,
we really need that tight of security for YouTube people.
Some of them have millions of subscribers.
Liza obviously
and
does.
The other girl that had her own conference, and we'll talk about that in a second. But they gave you little wristbands, and I had mine here, and I don't know what happened to it. But it was a little wristband on there that had a chip in it. So, yeah, it's getting to that, folks. So every time you entered or exited an area, okay, you had to scan your chip. Even with inside the conference, if you left one area, you scanned your chip. Went into another area, again, it's all still just conference people. You had to scan your chip. Very invasive, and they were like, make sure to scan it. They were like really rude about it. The staff there was not very, and I understand they're probably dealing with 30,000 screaming kids most of the time. They don't know how to treat the adults right. Because there were some kind of, I don't know how we'll put it, really kind of groupie people there. There were some regular kids too that were there just enjoying it, but there were some hardcore fans there that it was a little weird. To say the least. But the security getting in and out was absolutely ridiculous. You got dropped off at where we normally get dropped off, and you couldn't get dropped off there. They made you walk completely around the convention center to go in because they didn't want, if you don't have your badge, you can't go through here. It's like, huh?
Yeah, and this badge that Pat's talking about, this bracelet, literally stays on you for 3 days.
Yeah,
like you shower in it, you swim in it, you sleep in it.
Yeah.
You cannot take it off, because if you take it off,
they charge you $20.
They charge you $20 for a new one. And would you say it was like a Chinese? What'd you call it?
Kind of like the Chinese finger torture thing, where basically as you tighten it, it had a cloth wrist strap, and when you tighten it, you can't loosen it. So if you tighten it too much and it cuts off the circulation, you're going to have to cut it off and then buy another one. So you can't like adjust it in and out. It just, if you tighten it, just leave it there.
And you can't wear it too loose, because if you drop it and it falls off, you're screwed.
You're screwed.
But here's the thing. Not only did you have to have your badge on, but you also had to have the bracelet. So it was double security. If your bracelet was, didn't match your badge, goodbye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye,
Yeah.
So, they were very, very strict. I mean, as a business owner, or as maybe a company that might want to take out a booth in a VidCon, they know their numbers. There's no bullshitting on that. They'll know the numbers, because they know exactly how many times attendees would have walked in and out of that expo.
No, and I understand you got great data from it.
Great data.
But you do realize that every single online company has had to change their terms of use because of the fact that they were gathering too much data on people, and now VidCon has gone the other direction, and they're just gathering as much as they can. there is some level of privacy that you want. And so I just don't want to have to scan in and out. I got my badge. Let me go from area 1 to area 2.
Right. Yeah.
It's not like these were the industry track ones were fairly expensive, but they still weren't as much as an NAB badge.
Right.
For the conference.
Because what was the cost of an industry badge?
It was if you did it early, it was $850 on site. Ours were $200 beforehand, $250 on site. So it's a big difference in price.
And then they had the standard ones, which were probably, I think, $150 early, and then $200 on the day of.
Like $180 the day of.
$180 on the day of.
So, and that just got you onto the expo floor and to the community ones, which were mostly sponsored.
Community, that's what
the
they were
community
called.
section was
Yep.
mostly sponsored talks. So
got it.
And not a lot of content that was relevant to us. And again, I could care less about meeting.
Yeah, they had some good stuff in the community tracks.
Yeah.
But again, it was a lot of meet and greet your favorite YouTube stars.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, because there was for creators that do like dance and online, dance stuff. Oh, they had a track on trolling, people who troll, how to create a kind community. Again, these were, some of the basic, the community tracks, but a lot of meet and greet, and greet with your favorite, YouTube creator. Yeah. And YouTube star, where ours were more like we said, creator based, creator content. Again, I think the biggest takeaways I got from our tracks were things like, the thumbnails, creating how a good thumbnail will, attract people. There was another one the final one we went to with the three kids that were up there that was very good.
Yeah.
On how to market your channel, and that guy that you liked a lot,
Color Theory, and
yeah,
Roberto something, I forget his name, is very very sharp guy, and those are people I like to talk to, because those are people that have their act together. They're not just people that are running around with their phone.
And how to collab. How to collab.
Yeah.
There was a whole thing on how to not collaborate, folks.
Collab.
How to collab.
It's
collab.
How to collab.
But I mean, it was it was interesting. Let's just put it that way.
I could say that. Will I go back next year? No.
No.
Did
Would
I
I go back?
2 years maybe, who knows.
Yeah.
I got good information out of it. There was a lot of redundant information, but I understand, because there's 5 tracks going on at once for each, or 5 presentations going on at the same time for each track. So you're gonna miss stuff, and you probably you go back but there are times I heard the same stuff in 3 or 4 different presentations.
I did too. Yeah.
So, which is not a horrible thing, but it's nice to hear some fresh stuff. And there were some ones that really was just panels on the creators talking about themselves and a little bit of good information. So, which happens at every conference. I get it. If this conference was by itself, if VidCon was by itself and you had the creator conference or the creator sessions, and it didn't have all the goofy fan stuff going on, it would be, I think, a good conference to go to for people like us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise, you're dealing with masses of crazy fans, and it's just it's not a professional environment. It really
well,
isn't.
when it comes to professional environment, I think Anaheim was a very good location for this.
Yeah.
Because of the kid
and
element.
It was Disneyland there, but it was
Disneyland
was across the street. It was across the street from
right
Disneyland.
Across the street. Yeah.
So if you and they had a day where everybody just went to Disneyland.
Yeah, that was just.
So,
I think
but
that
you
was
just went on your own. Yeah, you just went on your own, and so
Sunday.
I said, it was just a little too kid oriented. They really do feel like they should be 2 different events.
I think VidCon would kick ass if they did 2 separate VidCons. Do the KIDCON where all the YouTubers and all those people that want to be, and then do the industry and creator tracks.
Yeah, where people who are there that are doing this as a business and are serious about it, that just aren't there to go, oh, can I get a picture?
Hey, I had my picture taken with the Teenage Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, that was just because it was silly, and we took our picture with a giant microphone.
Oh, yeah, that's right. A guy in a microphone suit.
Yeah.
A giant microphone.
At the Road booth. Like I said, there was only a few. We saw the podcast booth, which was good.
Yeah, we met podcasting people. That was very cool.
But I think the biggest challenge, like I said, 90% of the expo floor was just geared towards kids and goofy stuff. You had to fight through crowds and crowds of. It felt like you had to walk through Disneyland to get to your next session.
And there was a room Nazi that just
Oh my goodness.
she would. You know how when you go to conferences, folks, and the next seminar is going to be in the same room, so you just sit there and you wait for the next seminar. This lady booted everybody out. You had to go back outside, sit on a line, and then when you walked in the room, you had to file in like you were in school. One by one,
up against the wall, and then fill in every seat. It's like, what if I don't want to sit in that row?
Yeah, and
it's like I'm not a kid. I'm an adult. I can sit. People can fill in seats. It's not a hard thing to do.
I had a seat saved for you, and she yelled at you.
Yeah, she wouldn't let me walk directly to the seat because she wanted everybody to be up against. She took her job a little too seriously.
Yes,
and she was also the only one that would get on the microphone herself and start talking to people. And she tried to be nice, but she just was really a control freak.
She was.
And it was really obnoxious.
It was really.
Every time I saw I was going to that room, I'm like, ugh. So that kind of took away from it. The AV was not done well. A lot of microphone issues, a lot of issues with connection from the laptops to the projectors.
Yes.
But honestly, it felt like everything was done on the fly. I don't think anybody planned anything out when they just walked in the room, said, "Here, let's make it happen."
Yeah.
It seemed like there was very little planning.
I was sitting in a class, Pat, where the presenter saw a girl in the row in front of me and asked her if she had VGA cables and all this because she saw that the girl was working on her computer, a thumb drive. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And this is seconds before you go on.
Before you're supposed to go on. Yeah.
Like, you're a presenter.
They even had one of the sessions was a live telecast with one of the bigwigs at YouTube that was supposed to be broadcast into one of the rooms, and it never happened because they couldn't get a connection.
When you told me that, I almost died. That's the guy who started YouTube.
A streaming media conference, and they couldn't get the
chief
live stream
product
to work.
officer.
Chief product officer. So it's like, well, you can watch it on our site later. So, I don't know. Like I said, it feels like it really needs to be two different conferences.
Agreed. I agree.
And I think a lot of it has to do with when there's people like ourselves, we don't want to be around a bunch of just
no offense,
screaming
kids.
fans. Yeah, look, there's a place for it. And if I was your age, I'd want to be part of what you're doing too. If I was 16 years old and I wanted to meet my favorite YouTube creator, I'd want to be able to go to that. But to combine the two, I know it's a money grab. I know that's what it is. It's just a profit for business, but they really need to be separate. They really need to have the people who are there for business and the people.
And I think if they do it separately, they should come to Vegas for the adult part.
Yeah,
that would be great. Have VidCon in Las Vegas at our Las Vegas Convention Center, and then have the summer one for the kids, the KIDCON in Anaheim.
That's a perfect place, And honestly, that's the majority of the people there. And if you did the creator and the industry tracks together, it'd only be a few thousand people. So there's a lot of places they could do it.
Yep.
And it would be two separate events that we wouldn't have to worry about all the goofiness. And like I said, it was.
But Anaheim is a beautiful city.
Yeah,
weather was great.
City. Yeah, weather was really good.
Lots of food options for people to go, and they had that concert area outside of VidCon, so they had like that,
a lot going on.
What am I thinking of?
They had live entertainment,
like an alley, we
yeah.
have the link. They had their own food trucks, and
lots of food trucks,
and lots of YouTubers that are YouTube stars that are singers or dancers were performing out there on stages. So again, feeding into the kids. We were not interested
into
at
the
all.
Fan base.
We're out the door. So
so it was just a different
different vibe.
Different vibe and a different type of creator and creator audience that they were going after. So but like I said, it was good content. Sometimes not very good, but for overall was decent content.
From if 10 is the best and 1 is the worst, you'd give it a
5.
Really? I would have gave it a 7.
Yeah, it's a 5.
I'm going for 7 for me. 7.
Yeah, I just when you just because the cost of the conference wasn't the expense, it's the travel and the hotel and all the other stuff.
We had a nice hotel.
To spend, yeah, of course, but it's the value of that to me, the content really has to be strong because I think most of the stuff we could have just learned online and
yes, I thought that when you and I talked about stuff, I'm like, I could have probably found this stuff online, but I'm glad I was able to go because it opened up a world. I got to know who different creators are and who the people to follow on YouTube that would help me were there.
And there are some rabid fans that are just hardcore. I mean, to the level of what we always think of rock stars and athletes, and
YouTube people.
They are just they're like obsessed with these creators. They have millions of
followers. Millions.
In fact, one of them, and you played the video the one night because we were looking for VidCon videos, and there was one creator that I guess she at one point was talking about being a featured creator, and then it never happened. And then she, according to her side, they didn't treat her properly and kicked her out of VidCon. So this year, she did her own fan event at, what was it?
TamaraCon.
TamaraCon. Her name was
TamaraCon.
Tamara. And she has a big following.
TanaCon.
TanaCon. There you go. TanaCon. So she has a big following. And
huge following, from what I understand.
She had room for 5,000 people at this seminar.
Garden Grove.
And they sold 20,000 tickets.
So Garden Grove is next to Knott's Berry Farm.
Yeah.
And the venue hosted only 5,000 people.
They sold 20,000 tickets.
She sold 20,000 tickets.
And it got shut down by the fire marshal. It got shut down by the fire marshal, and the whole thing was put to us. Now, look, she has the following, that's obvious, but she obviously didn't have a show producer to put this together and tell her, hey, you're sold out.
Yeah.
This is done. This is it.
Yep.
So, and that people are just going to show up too. So that wasn't even put into, the thought process. So I think this was kind of thrown together without, she probably doesn't even understand how popular she is.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure the VidCon people just laughed their ass off, saying, "Yes, see what happens."
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a train wreck. It was all over the news, and it's still being talked about online. And wow, I don't think she realized how popular she was. You're right.
Yeah, and how many people would show up?
Yeah,
because it probably would have been a good event for her had they managed it properly.
Yeah.
And it would have helped her out a lot, and she might have made some money off of it. But now she lost her ass because now she still has to pay for the event, and she has to refund all of these tickets.
I think she should stick to just being a YouTube star.
Yeah.
Or hire a professional
you gotta hire
company
somebody to do it right. Yeah.
To do it right.
Don't try to do something on that scale by yourself.
And don't be so greedy to sell 20,000 tickets when your venue only holds 5,000.
Yeah, and
what she think was going to happen?
Well,
why would you keep?
There was probably also people that couldn't or didn't buy tickets that showed up anyway. So that could have been part of it as well, but even then, that has to do with security.
And it costs a lot of money. You think about it. That VidCon conference cost them a lot of money, but they also make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And that's why we all had the wristbands. Beep, beep, beep. Because that guy who produces VidCon, he can give accurate numbers to advertisers. And let's face it.
How long you spend in each area.
Yeah, and let's face it. Silicon Valley has a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
So... just saying, these toy companies that want these YouTube influencers and creators, they were all there with their unicorns and their stuffed animals and their hair products and their makeup. They know that they got an audience there. People will buy shit. They'll buy your merch.
No, and for as far as the producers go, it obviously was a very successful conference because they had a boatload of people. And honestly, they could care less what we think because we're just two people, and they'll replace us with 100 more. For next year.
But we did say that we liked it, so we're not talking. We enjoyed the conference.
We had some good content, but it felt like it needed to be two separate conferences. I don't think most professional people, and I think a lot of the industry people too, would show up to this and go, what's going on? What is all this? Because they were in the middle of all of the industry track was in the middle of all of the madness. It was in the area where the expo floor was.
Yes, yeah, it was.
So they had to deal with it directly. So I don't know how well they took that part of it. Again, it just feels like it needs to be two separate events. And that's just our 2 cents on this. Obviously, they produce this show, they make lots of money, and at a certain point, there's a little bit of a disconnect where it's like, look, if the numbers are still in the black and we're still making a profit, then we're doing something right. But like I said, I certainly wouldn't go again next year. I feel like I can, and now granted, thankfully because we were there this year, we got a good idea of where we need to look for new information. So I really don't feel this would be a great investment for next year. And I could care less about meeting, a creator with 5 million fans that all they do is run around and take video of their day.
Yeah, because that creator with 5 million fans is not going to spend any time talking to us.
No, and that's a completely different genre, completely different audience. We're not going after 14-year-olds, thankfully, because otherwise we'd be arrested. And no.
I'd like to be a 14-year-old, but
you still act like a 14-year-old.
I certainly do. I was kind of upset I couldn't go upstairs and meet that WWE person.
That's right.
I wanted to sneak up there. Trust me, if there was a way to do I read about it. It was too late. Had I known about this WWE person ahead of time, I would have definitely weaseled my way upstairs. That's all I have to say.
I'm sure you would have.
That's all I have to say. So I'm done. Anything else, Pat, you want to talk about before we sign off on this KidCon, VidCon episode?
No, I think I've gotten it off my chest.
Yes.
I really do.
And consistency, Pat, is the key to getting people to keep,
which we have not had. So
we agree. We're hoping that this video will lead to another video,
to another, and to
same
another.
Time,
same
day,
same day
next week.
Right. Hopefully, crossing your fingers. So I hope you enjoyed our rant. Hopefully it didn't drive you crazy. Hope it didn't click you off after 30 seconds. But all we can do is
Sarah.
Yeah, that's it. So stay tuned. By the way, we have our new channel now that's just staying up with Pat and Jodi. So we're going to populate that with some of the old shows. That's right, populate.
That just sounds such a dirty word.
Staying up with Pat and Jodi, just type it in on YouTube. That's the best way to find us.
Unless they kick us
And they
off.
can follow us on Facebook. And
we're everywhere. Just follow us. Pat and Jodi, staying up.
Staying up with Pat and Jodi.
Bye, everybody.
And subscribe. Subscribe, damn it. Bye.